everybody. Welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful night. It's extremely late where I am, but I thought I'd squeeze in a little react to Chantal's video that she put out a day ago called Arabic Mansaf Weight Loss Mukbang. So I wanted to go over that, plus some stuff on Twitter, and kind of talk about some other things that have been happening since she dropped that video. So, what happened tonight? Let's start with that. So, for those who are not aware, another person is on Music Biz Marty's radar, and it's none other than Missy Moo. From what I've gathered, Missy Moo kind of put herself on Marty's radar. Uh, According to certain sources, she reached out to Marty and she told him, I've got the tea, I've got the receipts on Foodie. He was interested, and she kind of flaked on that. And tonight I was, watching his live stream, and it was just an entire mess. A mess that included mention of Missy perhaps sending explicit pictures to Natter. There was also mention of an intimate video, uh, her trying to call the cops on Marty. Just all kinds of things happened. Like, she is not backing away from Marty. She's more or less leaning into the drama. And that's a really big mistake, Missy. Um, I watched the live stream tonight, and the more I watched it, the more I just kept thinking, it just seems like maybe Missy is still talking to Foodie, and maybe she's trying to deflect Marty's attention onto herself, uh, trying to help cover for Foodie. Because right now, no one knows where Foodie is at. That nobody knows if she's still in Kuwait, if she's gone back to Canada. She might be in Canada right now. The only way we're truly going to know is if she pops up and does a live stream in Canada. But she's been quiet the last couple of days. Or she could simply still be in Kuwait and just kind of letting everything play out the way that it does in her absence. So we're not going to know where Foodie is and what's going on until she shows her face into a live. In the meantime, all that we have is live here. So let me go ahead and just let's start with everything on Twitter. I found some really cool stuff on Twitter, some wholesome stuff as well. And then we'll get into her video because she does talk about her health issues. And for those of you that are on my channel that have been telling me in the comments, then it looks like Foodie has been deliberately posting her uploads kind of in a backwards order or 2 weeks prior to releasing them. I would agree with you. Foodie does that on purpose to the reactors because she knows that we pay attention to details. So she films a whole bunch of content and then she'll release it periodically to make things more confusing to follow. That's just something that she does. So let me just go ahead and pull up my Twitter here. All right. And for those of you that want to follow me on Twitter, it's Wild Girl Sarah. Okay, this is from CCTV Idiots. Okay, everybody knows about the popular drink Red Bull, but have you actually ever seen a Red Bull? Well, now you have. There's actually a Red Bull. There you go. So when you see the drink, you think of this creature right here. That's a real Red Bull. Okay, so this is really heartwarming. From tweets of dogs saying, "This is my bro Peanut. He was my grandma's bodyguard for about 10 years. After she passed, our family vultures were about to drop him off at the pound when I decided that I'd take him in. That was over 8 years ago, and I've taken him all over the world and offshore, I guess several different places." Oh, so this little guy was grandma's bodyguard for a decade and then went on to a new home. That's so sweet. And this broke my heart. "Are you my new daddy? Oh, how can you say no?" And that's from Dalbo Dog. And this is a heartwarming story saying, "Today I adopted a human. It broke my heart to see him so lonely and confused. And suddenly I got his teary eyes to meet mine. I don't like the smell of sad. I wanted to jump on him so bad. He spoke to me with cuteness, and I knew it. I had to rescue him. I knew, let's see, he- I had to rescue him. That human needed me. So I barked with all my strength. I followed him blocks and blocks. I got close. I could smell his hands. The human smiled for an instant. And when he took me in his arms, I started to feel his ice cream heart warmed. I approached his cheeks and felt a tear roll on them. I looked at him deeply, and his response was a brilliant smile. I jumped excitedly into his arms. I promised to behave, love him forever, and never part with his side. How lucky he was to go through that block, down that street, and I feel lucky too. There were so many people walking around, and no one was looking at me, all worried, all in their troubles. Glad no one else chose me today. I saved a life. Today, I adopted a human. Aw. Sometimes it's not people adopting animals. Sometimes it's animals adopting people. They do say that you don't really choose a pet, they choose you. I think we can all say that. Those of us that are pet owners, we didn't choose our pets, they chose us. That's really sweet. Okay, now we're going to go back to Foodie for a minute. Holly Go Heavy says, talking about Foodie and her doctor or clinic visit, a standard complete physical for a woman near 40 is minimally physical exam, PAP, if applicable, words. Where are my words today? PAP, if applicable, doggone it. My lips are not wanting to work. Let's try this one more time. PAP, if applicable. Screw it. I don't care. You see the word on the screen, doggone it. And fasting lab work. Additional testing for commodities. Y'all think Foodie Beauty had all that done in a clinic at 11 p.m. for 4 Kuwaiti dinar? No. For the amount of testing that she would need, a complete physical exam, it's only going to cost her $4 in Kuwaiti dinar. No, she needs a complete physical exam from top to bottom, inside and out. She got the basic bare minimum, and she needs much more than that. Okay, this has to do with Missy Moo and Marty. This is from Chicken Pickle, saying, let me get this straight. Missy Moo got involved with Marty. Marty got Natter involved, and they are threatening to release her nudes that somehow Natter has to her and her husband's work if she doesn't spill info on Chantal. Now, Missy Moo is on the phone with the Akron police. So, yeah, that thing about the pictures. Natter claimed, I guess, that Missy sent him explicit pictures, and he also has a video. Now, Missy originally said that the pictures were fake, but then she proceeded to freak out, which made me question that. If the pictures were fake, why are you freaking out, Missy? And I have another question. Um, as a married woman with a partner, why would you send explicit pictures to a man that's not your husband? Isn't that kind of grimy? Why are you sending explicit pictures to another man that is not your man? And also, it's a man that someone who you claimed is your friend that they were interested in and they were involved with. Very, very, very grimy of you. Very grimy. Okay, another heartwarming story from the Darbo dog. Now, I am 52 years old and I grew up with Three Stooges. So I know who this person is. Jerome Horwitz, famous for playing Curly in the Three Stooges, was known to all as a protector of dogs. Curly's contract with Columbia Pictures included a clause that allowed his dogs to accompany him to the studio lot. Columbia limited it to no more than 2 dogs at a time. This due to the puppy's unplanned on-camera appearances from time to time. You can still see those surprise dog onset invasions in the first few short films, typically surrounded by various dogs. Curly was known to come home with a stray dog and foster it until he could find it a permanent home. when the Stooges were out on the road. Curly took it upon himself to find a new home for at least one stray dog in every town they visited. Curly is estimated to have saved and rescued more than 5,000 dogs in his lifetime. This makes him a man ahead of his time, with a very admirable concern for man's best friend. That is so awesome. I grew up watching the Three Stooges, and they were hilariously funny. And it's nice to find out something like that about somebody that I used to watch as a child. Well done, Curly. Okay, this is from Science Girl. A raccoon using tools to get out of container. Raccoons are really smart. They're really smart. You know, like, trash rats. That's what they are. They're pranksters. They are incredibly intelligent. Look, this raccoon is figuring out how to get out of the container using a stick to get out. So raccoons can be really, really smart when they want to be. All right, so let's go on. Now, this is funny from Massimo. Horses are not colorblind. They have two color or dichromatic vision, but have relatively poor accommodation change focus as they have weak ciliary muscles. Anyway, this painted grass was enough to fool this horse. Poor horsey, they thought that the grass painted on the car was real grass. Somebody get that baby some real grass. He deserves it. He was working hard to get that grass off the truck. Okay, back to Foodie. This is from Ruth Langmore saying, quote, I have high BP. Rapidly inhales the beigest food ever, the size of her table with a green leaf. No more fast food for me. Uh, Unalive B is certain high BP is the least of your concerns, cutie. Kelly says, wonder what else they told Foodie if she's telling the truth. Lots of food she'll eat off camera, in my opinion. So this is from the video. Let's watch it together.
I didn't film it, but I didn't know. I didn't really want to film. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this information with you guys or not. But I wanted to get a physical, and my blood pressure was pretty high. So,
You know, it blows my mind. She did this video and she's sitting here talking about her blood pressure being high. At the same time, she's eating tons and tons of food. Oh, my blood pressure was high. She's sitting there eating an entire cake pan full of rice. When she knows doggone well that her over consuming fatty foods, sodium, sugar, all of that is contributing to her high blood pressure. So, yeah, I've got high blood pressure, but look at me. I don't care about it. I don't care so much that I'm going to get on camera and make the situation worse.
it could have been because, guys, when I say it was like the most human I've ever experienced in my life, it was so humid last night. And I was like, we had to walk a bit to get to the clinic from where we parked. So it could have been the stress, but I think it's safe to say I probably do have high blood pressure. So I'm trying to really watch, like, also for my health, to try to do this. Not eat fried. I don't want to eat like deep fried food, fast food. I didn't film it, but I didn't know. I didn't really want to film. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this information with you guys or not.
I know that this clip is really speeded up and it might be hard to understand. So we'll just wait until we get to the video because it is slowed down a bit. Okay, this is an eye opener. This is thank you, book lady. So y'all take a look at this. This is how small Foodie used to be compared to how she looks now. An old picture of Foodie superimposed on top of a more recent picture. Look at the size difference. This was back when she was in the 300s. This is her now. So are you still going to go with the narrative, Foodie, that you've only gained 30 pounds? Ma'am, without even putting you on the scale, I think you're easily in the 500-pound range. Easily. The difference between these two images has got to be at least 100 pounds, 150 pounds. And even if we didn't see the body, when you were in the 300s, you had a lot more mobility. Your breathing was not labored. You were going places, you were doing things, you were not embarrassed about yourself. The more weight you put on, the less mobility you have. You don't feel good about yourself. Your health is certainly getting worse. And it takes more than 30 pounds for all of that to happen. Okay, so that's it for everything on Twitter. There wasn't a whole lot. So let's go over. You know what? Before we get started with the food video, I would like to show you guys something. So she's eating, I believe it's chicken Mansaf. I wanted to see what it looked like. These are examples of Arabic chicken Mansaf. All of these pictures look very appealing. They look delicious. I would like to try these dishes. They look amazing. Now keep these pictures in your head. Keep them in your head because I want to show you what she's eating. Now, the pictures I just showed you, does what she have in front of her look anything like them? Because what I see in front of me is just like a bunch of meat and rice. There's no seasonings, there are no vegetables, there's no color to this dish at all. It's completely beige. It's lacking in color. So, is that really Mansaf? She says it's Mansaf, but it looks nothing like the pictures I just pulled up. Really strange. Anyway, just wanted to show that to you guys before we get started. All right, let's go.
And in other Middle Eastern countries, but primarily in the Levant. Is that how I'm saying it right? It's like a group of Middle Eastern countries. So basically, this is a yogurt sauce. Um, it's called jamid, and it's a type of like dried yogurt that they make into balls out of sheep's or goat's milk, and then they make a sauce out of it, and they cook the meat inside of this yogurt sauce. It's actually really flavorful and delicious, and it's a really big comfort food. So I'm actually just gonna eat. I'm not gonna eat all of this food. I've been really trying to just like be very moderate about my eating.
Um, if that's true, why did you need to put all of that rice in front of you? Is what for YouTube? Is that to make the 25% of people that are still in your audience that want to see you eat a lot of food to make them happy? Because if you're looking to control your portions, which I don't think you are, if you put a lot of food in front of you, that's going to prompt you to eat as much as possible. This right here did not need to happen. If you want to eat some rice and you want to eat the meat, fine. But you could have taken more than 3/4 of that rice and put it away for later. You didn't need all that rice in front of you. And to sit there and have that amount of rice and food in front of you and you can't finish it all, it's just wasteful. It's incredibly wasteful.
So yeah, you know, as they say in Islam, the stomach 1/3 food, 1/3 water.
Okay, so what is this? Prophet Muhammad said a human being fills no worse vessel than his stomach. It is sufficient for a human being to eat a few mouthfuls to keep his spine straight. But if he must fill it, then 1/3 of food, 1/3 for drink, and 1/3 for air. So, listen, I'm not a Muslim person. I'm not of the Muslim faith, but I understand what's being said here. In other words, you're not supposed to commit gluttony and become overly full. Just everything in moderation. So I guess what's being said here is, uh, to moderate yourself. There's got to be a sense of control, which she does not have.
Water, 1/3 air. I'm not going to fill this vessel anymore to the brim. I'm going to do my best. So,
Well, you're not doing your best. You've already failed. Because look at all the food in front of you. If you're looking to control your portions, then wouldn't it just make sense to take 3/4 of that food and put it in the fridge? And that way you're only eating what's in front of you. And by doing that, you're giving yourself a sense of control over your food. Because if you put only a certain amount in front of you, then you can finish it and say, that's all I need. That's it. That's my portion. And then later on, when you get hungry, you can eat the portion you didn't eat. But you won't be prompted internally to eat it all at once, to go overboard. You could just take a small portion of rice, small portion of meat, put it together, put it on a small plate, eat that and be satisfied.
Yeah, so let's dig in. Bismillah. And so I have here's some mabouch. It's like a, you know what, I've had it many times. And this bread that covers the meat, there's bread on the bottom. And
I'm not trying to be disrespectful to uh, anybody of the Middle East and the food in the Middle East. This is not your fault, but I'm sorry. That dish does not look appealing. Where's the color? Why is it lacking in color? I just pulled up pictures of Mansaf, and all of them looked appealing. Let me go back again. I did a search because I'm like, does Mansaf look like that? And it doesn't. The pictures I pulled up look like this. It looked tasty. It looked delicious. There's color. Look, there's greens. The rice is beautiful. So what happened with Foodie's dish? I mean, this kind of looks a little bit like what Foodie's eating, but not quite. But she's calling it Mansaf, and I'm like, why don't any of these look like that? It's beige, it's bland, it doesn't look appealing at all. Is that the way she ordered it? Did she order it special? I don't know. I really don't know. But just it looks like just a bunch of meat put on top of a bunch of rice.
And then there's bread on top. It's a saj bread. It's a Middle Eastern bread. And my cat loves it wherever she went to. I gave her some already. So let us take this and just pour that on top of everything. It's like a peppers, crushed peppers. We have some greens with lemon, very healthy. Okay, let's dig in. You take some of the sauce that the meat was cooked in, like that. And actually, you can even take the saj bread and just kind of
Oh, that's bread? I thought it was meat.
do that. It's like a soft, thin flatbread.
My mistake. I thought that was strips of chicken or something. It looked like meat to me. My mistake. Sorry.
Right?
But even then, I have questions. So Manzaf doesn't have any meat in it because the ones I just saw had meat in them. I'm so confused. It just meat. Wait a minute. Bread and rice?
Wow.
So carbs on top of carbs.
And yogurt is so good for the digestion.
Well, you know what else is good for the digestion, Foodie? Not eating a bunch of junk or topping your stomach off every couple of hours. Giving your stomach and your digestive system a break, giving it a chance to relax, that really helps.
Mm.
You're always making it go into overtime. Is it any wonder you're running to the bathroom 15 times a day?
Yeah, I've just been reading more about like Islam, the hadith on eating too much and eating habits. Whoa, there's a whole cardamom pod. And it's so
You know, I'm just going to tell you guys what I'm feeling right now. I just have a feeling that this meal was one that she made herself. I'm not getting a set, even though, yes, there are plastic takeout containers. Something just keeps telling me she didn't order this from somewhere, at least not the rice portion. This kind of looks like something that Foodie would throw together. Like she cooked up a bunch of rice in the rice cooker or something and threw it in a container with some bread on top. This is something that she would do, not a restaurant.
interesting to me, the teachings. So I've been really interested in that. And it's been helping me, realize um, the meaning of overconsumption. I'm having water.
You know, I'm not disrespecting anybody who's Muslim or you read the Quran, you have the faith in your heart, but I want to speak directly to Foodie right now. Foodie, do you need the Quran or anyone to tell you that gluttony is bad, that you've been eating too much? Do you really need anyone? Do you need a faith to tell you that gluttony is bad for you? Since you've been in Kuwait, you put on a tremendous amount of weight. Your mobility is crap. You can barely move, you can barely breathe. Just walking for 3 minutes, you're out of breath. Your face is beet red, your blood pressure goes to the roof. Do you really need anyone anywhere telling you that you shouldn't be participating in gluttony?
I drink out of this big thing because make sure I drink the whole thing. So I've also swapped out my 3-in-1 Nescafe because it's it's so high in calories. Like I forget how many it is, but it's like hundreds. Okay.
You know why I'm over here laughing, y'all? Because she's talking about a little packet of something, right? I switched out this because it was so high in calories. At the same time, she's sitting in front of a container of rice. Do y'all see while I'm laughing now? I switched out this product. So why are you doing that? So you can eat more rice and more carbs? If I cut down, calories over here, I can transfer them over here. It don't work like that, Foodie.
So this is 20 calories per.
And she's worried about the calories in that little packet. Meanwhile, she's not concerned about the calories down here. This is the problem, Foodie. You're a carb addict. You love your carbs, you love your sugar, you love your bread, you love your cheese. You love your sugary drinks. And that's going to be a complete biatch to deal with. I know because I used to love my carbs too. And trying to stay away from that is a pain in the neck. But you obviously you love your carbs. Look, what are we eating here? Y'all see any vegetables? Do you see anything healthy in here? It's nothing but bread and rice. Where's the protein? There's no protein here. Just straight carbs. And she doesn't do anything. She's very sedentary. What does she need all those carbs for?
Sachet.
You don't burn that many calories scrolling around on your phone looking at Twitter and YouTube.
And it's basically just Arabic coffee, um, cardamom, saffron, cloves, ginger, creamer. So there's a bit of creamer in here.
Girl, don't worry about that creamer. Worry about the stuff you put on your plate.
No sugar. It's an instant package of Arabic coffee, and it's like, seriously, I love this stuff. And it's 20 calories. I mean, you know, so
You worried about that 20 calories, mean there's probably like over 1,000 in this container by itself.
just trying to do little swaps like that here and there. What did he give me here? Salah gave me some of his meat, Mansaf, and I gave him the chicken leg because
Oh, so there is meat in there. I didn't see the meat because everything in that container is the same color. It's all beige. Varying levels of beige. So we have like what the beige rice, the beige bread, and the beige chicken. It's all camouflaged. So there is there's a little bit of meat in there. The majority though is the bread and the rice.
I am not too fond of
Of
um, the chicken leg. I also have trouble, I don't like to waste, but I have trouble eating the fat off meat. I've just always been that way. So, okay. Now, let's continue eating. I have a funny story actually because, like, the food came and Salah was like, told the guy, just leave it at the door. So I heard the driver put the food down and we're waiting here, till they leave to go get it. And then I could hear other people, like, on the floor. And then I didn't
okay, question. Why do you have to wait until other people leave to get your food? That makes no sense. If somebody delivers your food, you can just walk outside your door and get it. What are y'all hiding from?
know who it was. And I'm like, we should get the food. Like, what if someone steals it? He's like, no one is going to steal the food here. It's just like another reason, like, I like to live here is like the safety. Like, people just, you feel safe leaving your stuff laying around. Um, People leave all their stuff, like, in the halls. Like, even at any apartment we lived in, people leave all their shoes, their whole shoe collection out. So,
Maybe that's because there's a practice of not wanting to walk in the house with dirty shoes.
kind of like people, like, if you see reports of people, like, a lot of people are going to Dubai. It's like a really big trend. And one of the things they say is, like, one guy did an experiment. He left his coffee on the top of his car roof and just, like, went into the store and came back. Like, it was a busy store. And he left his coffee, his wallet, and his keys, and they were still there.
Wow.
Imagine doing that in, like, downtown Toronto. Nope. So the Gulf countries are, to me, like,
Can I just say, Foodie, you suck as a mukbanger. You really do. I mean, if I had to grade you on doing mukbangs, I would give you an F. An F for not presenting interesting conversation. Your presentation skills of the food sucks. You don't know how to make the food interesting. Even now with the Mansaf, look at this bread. It's all clumped together. It looks a mess. You couldn't before the start of the video, you couldn't break it up into little pieces to make it easier to eat so you can put it on the spoon. It's just a mass of bread. It just looks so awkward. And everything's the same freaking color. We can't tell what from what on your plate.
I don't know. I just feel safe. Um, so thank you for watching our couples vlog. Really means a lot. It was so much fun. Back to doing the vlogs. I really enjoy it. And we're going to do more. I'm going to try to do a daily vlog also of like my 10-minute exercise goal, because I want to at least do the 10 minutes and try to increase it. Maybe today I'll try to do 11, you know?
I think you getting your stamina up is a good idea, Foodie, but I think there should be more of an emphasis on losing the weight. You are so super morbidly obese and you're carrying so much weight around the front of you. You really need to focus on getting rid of some of the weight first. Like try to do some light things for stamina, but focus on getting rid of some of the weight first. You're at that point where it's gotten quite dangerous. And you need to start scaling back your portions and getting your food problem under control because it's completely out of control. And you need to go for a complete physical, inside and out. You need to know what your body can do and what it can do safely as far as any activity. Because right now, you have no idea. You have no idea at all what kind of shape your body is in on the inside.
It's so delicious, this food. I can't. I'm so thankful. I love being here. I love the culture. I love the food. And if you're Muslim, I love to like it's so I feel so much more at home in a place that they play the adhan loud on the streets, the call to prayer. They have mosques. It's an Islamic country, so imagine living in a country where everything is lined up with your beliefs.
I'm going to say something, and I hope that nobody takes this offensively. If you happen to be Muslim or if you have the Muslim faith, I think Foodie's whole reason and purpose for going to Kuwait was to hide and to escape from a great many things, from her debt in Canada, all the problems that she had in Canada. She went to Kuwait and she reverted to being Muslim in order to hide and escape from parts of herself that she did not want to acknowledge or to fix. Before she went to Kuwait, she had this idea in her head that in Kuwait there would be a large amount of obese people. And because there would be, she would just fit right in. She also figured that if she wore the abaya and the hijab, that would disguise her size. Uh, Her putting on the abaya and the hijab has nothing to do with being a newly reverted Muslim woman or having the faith in her heart. It has to do with her just hiding from herself and disguising who she really was. Moving to another country, trying to find a way to continue to become bigger and more unhealthy, and trying to immerse herself in a culture and around people that maybe would not criticize her openly, counting on the kindness of people in the Middle East to not criticize her. So it was more about escaping and hiding more than anything else. It wasn't about finding herself, it was about escaping herself and hiding herself away.
Of course, I've struggled to maintain certain aspects of being Muslim, but like I explained in my last video, I'm trying
No, you're not.
to get back to that.
No, you're not. You never tried in the first place.
So if you notice a change in my demeanor, I'm just trying to, you know, get back on track basically. The meat is so soft because it's cooked in the yogurt. So you can just cut up the bread. It's like a fresh, it's so good. I really can't describe it to you. It's one of my favorite dishes, my favorite Arabic dishes, Mansaf. Um, it's just so flavorful. And I know I'm gonna. Is there saj at the bottom like Salah said? Oh yeah, there is saj at the bottom. Yum. So you just kind of make sure the saj. I'm gonna prepare it for how I like it because I can. Oh, there's a whole cinnamon stick. That is delicious. I love when they use fresh herbs in the cooking.
Why are you digging your entire hand up in your food like that? This is what I'm talking about. The lack of professionalism. This is supposed to be what she does on YouTube to make money. She's been on YouTube for over 5 years, and still she lacks the polish on her videos that should be there. Like, if you're gonna do food videos, why not do them in a professional way? Here you are, 5 years later, you're still acting vulgar. Putting your fingers all up in your food. Come on, how old are you?
I'm not gonna eat all of this. I'm actually just gonna stick to a corner for now.
But uh, it's driving me nuts, y'all. She's sitting there digging her dirty paws up in there. I'm not going to eat all of this, but I'm going to make sure to touch all of it.
Take some of the meat off the bone.
Oh, wait. So I was so confused. I thought that was bread. That's chicken.
I'm gonna save a little bit for my hamster.
Why? Why does your hamster need to eat that?
He loves chicken.
Yeah, but I don't think he should be eating that, though.
Whoops. These abaya sleeves are destructive. they, if you get in their way, they will destroy anything in sight.
And if you're wearing an abaya and you're doing a food video and you're a messy eater, then make sure to have the food cut up to where you're not having to do all this.
Or knock anything over, I should say. So yeah, it's like a yogurt broth. It's so delicious. I can't really explain it any other way. But it's yummy. So again, I was successful at the intermittent fasting today. I started eating right now it's I think 7 p.m. So I also at night, like I get pretty hungry, after a few hours, especially after we go out for a walk and stuff.
By the way, for anybody out there that struggles with carb cravings, Carb cravings are always the worst at night. I don't know why, but they are. So if you really, really love your carbs, you love them a little bit too much, you could be fine all day. For some reason at night, that's when you really want those carbs. So if she's looking to turn her health around, get healthy, eating at night is the worst thing you can do, foodie, especially right before bed. You've got this really toxic cycle going on where you eat a huge meal and then you go right to sleep. That is a guaranteed way to gain weight. And you've been gaining a lot of it. This business of sleeping all day, waking up and having a huge meal, then going back to bed, that's leading to your lack of mobility. That's leading to your health problems.
So I usually have the bowl of salt and vinegar vegetables and a little bit of halloum, which is cheese. Maybe like 2 or 3 slices of small slices, and then I have a yogurt and a banana.
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to go on record and tell y'all that I don't believe she's telling the truth. She's saying, "Oh, I get up and I just have a yogurt and some vegetables." I'm going to go on record and say I don't believe a word of that. I really don't. You know, who's to say what she eats when the camera's turned off? We don't know, but more than likely, she's lying to us right now because she hates vegetables and she loves her carbs. I mean, where are the vegetables here? I don't see any vegetables on that plate. I see a little bit of greens, but she's barely touching them. So, does anybody believe she wakes up and the first thing she eats is vegetables and some yogurt? Anybody? No? No, me neither. I don't believe she's eating just the veggies and the yogurt. Nope. Nope. But I'll tell you what, foodie, if you're lying to us, and I think you are, the only person you're hurting with that lie is yourself. If you eat 2,000, 3,000 calories in a sitting, the only person who's being affected by that physically is you, not us. So you can go ahead and lie to us if you want. But in the end, you're the one that's hurt. Nobody on YouTube is hurt but you.
Small bowl of vegetables, maybe 4 or 5 cherry tomatoes cut up, and then um, you gotta get a bite of the bread, the chicken, and the rice with the sauce. And then I have a banana and 1 yogurt. It's like an individual portion yogurt.
I have to wonder about the thinking that goes into her eating. Is the thinking, if I don't eat much for my first meal, I can go ham on the second meal? Is that the thinking, Chantal? That if I really skimp on the first meal, I can go ham on the second meal? I can eat more calories with the second meal. Is that how you're thinking over there? It makes much more sense to eat 3 balanced meals than to eat vegetables and yogurt and then go ham on the second meal, especially right before bed. You got it all twisted and mixed up over there.
Mm. And I try to just drink water. That's it. That's all, folks. Mm. Every bite is.
She's lying. She's like, this is so good. Oh, really? If it's so good, why aren't you eating much of it? I've seen you go to town on food, Chantal. This ain't it. You are not wild about this food. Not at all. You're not shoveling it down your throat. You're taking your time and you're doing that thing that kids do when they've got something on their plate that they don't really want to eat, sitting there playing with your food, like just shoveling it around the plate here, there, and everywhere. You don't love all of this. You just don't. You're taking far too long to eat it.
Last night, I went to a clinic.
Okay. And
I just wanted to get some like testing done. Um, I did find out what my blood pressure was. I just wanted to get like a physical. So I didn't film it, but I didn't know. I didn't really want to film. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this information with you guys or not. But I wanted to get a physical, and my blood pressure was pretty high. So it could have been because, guys, when I say it was like the most humid I've ever experienced in my life, it was so humid last night. And I was like, we had to walk a bit to get to the clinic from where we parked. So it could have been the stress, but I think it's safe to say I probably do have high blood pressure.
yeah, you got high blood pressure. You have diabetes. You did say that you had an enlarged heart, and then you walked it back and said, "Oh, no, I don't. I just heard that obese people have enlarged hearts." You've had your gallbladder removed. You eat lots of sodium, lots of carbs, lots of sugar. Uh, you've got non alcoholic fatty liver disease. Your liver is 3 times the size of what it should be. Every single one of your major organs is messed up, Chantal. You're in bad shape. You're in very, very, very bad shape. That walk on the beach, it didn't even last 10 minutes. That should have been a wake up call to you. That should have been a real wake up call. Look at me. I can't even walk 10 minutes on the beach without feeling like I'm going to pass out. There's something not right here. This is not normal. I should be able to walk for at least 10 minutes, but not you. That didn't wake you up.
So I'm trying to really watch, like, also for my health to try to do this.
You're not, listen, you're sitting here eating all of this rice, all of this in front of you. So, how are you looking out for your health? You're still carb loading. For what reason, I do not understand. You don't go anywhere. You don't do anything. You don't need all these doggone carbs. You sit around all day. You do zero. You don't need to carb load, Chantal. You're not a lumberjack, Chantal. You're not a construction worker. You're not a firefighter. You don't need all those doggone carbs. What are you carb loading for? You don't need much energy to sit around and do nothing.
Not eat fried. I don't want to eat like deep fried food, fast food, stuff like that. The clinic experience was amazing. It was like, um, you go in, there was like nobody there. It was just me. And the clinics here are open late. A lot of them. Maybe till like 11 p.m. So I went to the clinic and Salah like explained everything and gave them my information. There's cardamom, clove, and cinnamon in this rice. So it was like super, super, super affordable. It was for everything, it was like less than $10.
So they went to the clinic and they had a checkup for less than $10, which tells me they didn't do a lot of testing. And there was nothing really intense there. There was no lab test, nothing. Because you're not going to get everything done for less than $10. And if I were Salah, taking this woman out for just a simple 10-minute walk on the beach, and she didn't even walk for the entire 10 minutes. And then directly after the walk, you got to take her to the clinic because you fear something might be happening. I'd be really looking at that. I'd be paying attention to that something is off here. Like her health is just that bad that she can't even walk for 10 minutes. She walks for less than 10 and she's got to go to a clinic because, she might be having a medical emergency. Got to go check it out. Make sure her blood pressure isn't too high. This is what's going on, Salah. This is how unhealthy she is, Salah. Are you getting it through your head? She doesn't need all this fast food, that her health is getting worse. It isn't just her getting bigger, which she is. Her health is declining. It's declining very, very rapidly. And this right here is not helping at all.
And that's a private clinic. You don't have to really, for a lot of services, you don't have to pay if you go to a government one. It just depends. But healthcare is affordable. I know people were like, if you lose your healthcare, well, the health.
Okay, so do you know why she went to a private clinic? 2 reasons. Because Chantal's a bit of a snob. She wants to have that, it's for the reason why she doesn't like to cook, right? She wants to be able to say, I make so much money, I can do takeout every night. And the rest of you that cook, you're just a bunch of peasants. So here she's doing it again with the whole clinic nonsense. Oh, I went to a private clinic. I didn't go to a free clinic. I went to a private clinic. Ooh, you went to a private clinic. You want to know why you went to a private clinic, Chantal? Because you're not a citizen of Kuwait. You're not entitled to their health care. You're a citizen of Canada. Because you're not in Canada, you cannot use the Canadian health care over there. And speaking of the Canadian health care, you've been away from Canada for so long, you might have lost access to that health care. And if you go back to Canada, you might need it, considering your state of health right now. But that's why you went to a private clinic, because you're not a citizen of Kuwait. You never will be. So you can't take advantage of their health care.
Healthcare here is great. Mashallah.
Something also tells me that when they went to the clinic, look, I'm just speculating here, just to make that known. I'm speculating that when her and Salah went to the clinic, if there were any tests that could have been done on Chantal that might have revealed serious health problems, she didn't want them done. I just have a feeling that she does not want Salah knowing how sick she really is. So she just did the basic bare minimum to where he would not know.
So I'm going to keep trying to get some weight off.
I mean, if she paid less than $10 at the clinic, guarantee you a lot did not get done.
They really do give you a huge amount of rice. Like, when you're trying to limit your portions, you realize
You're not limiting your portions. And let me tell y'all something. I hate food waste. I hate seeing people waste food. Like all this rice, she could have taken a small portion of that rice, put it on a plate, like I said, and take the other rice, put it back in the fridge, and used it to make other dishes. Spread it out in different meals. And that way the food would not get wasted. I hate food waste. There are a lot of people in the world right now that are food insecure. There are people out there that have trouble feeding their families. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. So nobody should be wasting food. And here's this person saying, I'm not going to eat all this. Then why'd you order all of it? You have all this rice in front of you. Why not be smart and just portion it out to where you're getting a little bit of rice, but you're not throwing the rest away and putting it in the garbage?
I love water. I'm fortunate that way that I love water because there are people I know who despise water, whoa, and have to get some kind of like water enhancement to make it flavorful for them. So I don't know. I love it. I've always loved it.
Just a little personal thing for those who may not be aware. People who are diabetic, when their blood sugar is too high, they'll be endlessly thirsty. So here's this person, Chantal. She's always consuming too much sugar. I'm sure her blood sugar is way too high all the time. So she has to keep drinking the water. And for someone that loves water so much, why was she making all those trips to Starbucks and double fisting the Starbucks drinks if water was her favorite love?
I used to eat like the whole tray of this food. All right. Hmm. Okay. I think that's enough for me. Maybe one more bite. This bread, the sage, is amazing. If you can try it.
Knowing Chantal, she's going to take that leftover rice and just dump it in the trash. See, if it were me, I would take that rice and do other things with it. I would make some stir fried rice with it, take some of the rice and make it into a soup. I would make sure that none of that rice went to waste. But Chantal will probably throw it away.
If you go to a Middle Eastern restaurant and they have sage, ask if they have sage on the menu. Especially like a Syrian or Jordanian. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. I'm finished.
For now.
All right, guys. So, thank you so much for watching this video and having dinner with me. Instead of mukbangs, I'm going to make it a kind of, I mean, it's still a mukbang because I'm eating, but it's going to be just healthy weight loss mukbangs like dinner with me.
We've already gone down that road with you. Didn't we go down that road, y'all? When she was doing the diet boxes? So she did the diet boxes, and you could tell she hated it. She's like, "Oh, this food tastes so good." And then later on, she confessed that on top of the diet boxes, she was eating other food. But we've already been here. We've already done this, you know? Like her trying to do like the healthier food videos. She wasn't happy doing it. And the people that come to her channel to see her eat mass quantities of food, they weren't happy watching. And so she fell back into her old habits. So I guess you're gonna recycle old content ideas one more time, Chantal. Okay, let's see how long that's gonna last.
And yeah, just reducing my portion, not eating fried fast food. Um,
This right here is not you reducing your portion. Just because you're not eating the entire thing on camera doesn't mean you're not eating it off camera. And I've said to you guys more than once, as far as temptation foods or food in general, if it's something you want to eat, if it's within arm's reach, if you can reach out and touch it, it's too close. So here we have this huge portion of rice. And then we have the eating machine known as Chantal. So here's this rice in front of her. Unless she throws it in the trash, if she puts it in the fridge, it won't last. She'll eat the whole doggone thing just because it's there.
I might eat like Subway, something like that, or maybe alter my fast food. Like if I eat, if I'm really craving McDonald's,
No, ma'am. No. Nope. What is that I just heard? If I can alter my fast food. No, ma'am. No. You're trying to find a workaround to include food like products into your diet that you really shouldn't be including. You're trying to find a way to include something to eat that you really shouldn't be eating because there's no nutrients in it. It's not good for you. I know that you can't completely go from one extreme to the other, but you're still trying to find a workaround to include it into what you're eating. You're not trying to stay away from it.
um, I could eat like a cheeseburger and a small fry.
And no. If you're trying to get healthy and you don't have any self control, and that is a trigger food, that's a temptation food. You don't need to be eating it. You need to stay away from it. You need to learn some self control because trying to trick yourself and talk yourself into thinking I've got enough control where I can just eat a burger and fries. You're doing that inner dialogue of I've got control now. I can get a burger and fries and stop there. No, you can't. A burger and fries is going to lead you to a pizza, which is going to lead you to a nashi, which is going to lead you to all that junk food. It's going to just set off a spiral. It's going to make you spiral. And you know that.
That should be sufficient. And I have to get used to this because I need to do it for my health. It's always been that, but I've just always struggled. Especially since we have travel plans, and I just want to live life. I want to be able to just skip across, the Souk Mubarakia, all of Kuwait. I just want to be able to skip around and frolic and run around, and not run, but like walk around for hours.
Well, you know what? I think you need to make a choice. I think you need to make a decision on what path you want to take. You need to make a clear decision about what path you want to be on. Because right now, the road that you're on, it's not very happy. There's not much promise in it. The road that you're on is you eating and eating and eating until there might be a medical emergency. The path that you're on is a path of immobility, unhappiness, misery, increased health problems, lack of movement, being embarrassed about yourself. Well, there's another path. Making the choice of, you know what, I'm choosing my mobility and my health over the junk food. Getting on that path and staying on that path. But you have to make that choice. You just have to. Stop being lazy and stupid and staying on the wrong path and making the wrong choices, which is what you're doing. You're doing it right now. I mean, seriously, what were you thinking ordering all of this, moron?
In the winter here. And so I'm trying to prepare that. Like, it's the opposite here. It's like, you know, most people in the Western world, they'll prepare.
Chantal, let's be realistic. Let's be really realistic. You're in the 500-pound range. To get down to the 300s, if you were to lose 100 pounds a year safely, it's going to take you at least 2 years. There's no possible way that you can lose 100 to 200 pounds within a few weeks, okay? There's no way. It took time to get to the state that you're in. It's going to take time to undo the damage that you've done.
Prepare all winter for like their summer bod, you know? Me, it's the opposite. I'm going to prepare the summer for the winter when I can go out comfortably, because the weather will drop to about 20 degrees or less sometimes at night in the evening. So, yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. So stay tuned. I will also release my exercise video later. So,
what exercise video? This was yesterday. I haven't seen an exercise video from her. All right, there weren't many comments on this video, but let me read this comment right here from Miami Storm, saying, it's so sad to watch you unalive yourself with food, Chantal. I pray that some days soon you'll awaken from this nightmare and set yourself on a path to living a life that is both long and healthy. Only you can do this for yourself. So many people love you and want only the best for you, but you have to want that for yourself. Good luck. Yeah, there are people that are keeping their hope up for Chantal. But just as this person said, the first person who has to take the first step is Chantal. She's got to be the one to do the work. She's got to be the one to make the choice. Nobody can make it for her. Like a million people on the internet saying, we're rooting for you. Well, you can root for her, but she's got to want it for herself, because if she doesn't, her life is not going to change. So there's other comments here. Let's see. There's a lot of people giving some health advice here, but we're going to wrap this up, and I'll just call it a night. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this react. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you so much for being here, and have a good one. Bye now.